Hello everyone, this is Running on Empty Food Review. Well, hello ladies, gentlemen, and everyone watching. This is Running on Empty Food Review. I am your host, the report of the week. Welcome to this newest installment, newest video. A frozen pizza review today. Yeah, it's another one. We're not even going to hide anything. No big secrets, no treasure hunt today. That's the pizza right there, the pizza box. Okay, you're going to be seeing it all today, though. We're going to be trying this new one out. We're going to assemble it. We're going to put it together. We're going to cook it. Right? We're going to act like one big family today, and then we're going to see what it tastes like. But yeah, a new frozen pizza. It's not often when a new frozen pizza does come out. A lot of these frozen pizza chains, DiGiorno, Bruschetta, Red Baron, etc., etc. There's so many. It's like they have their established favorites, right? They usually have these certain items on the list, and they're just long time favorites. They've been around for a while, but this is a new release. I have a feeling DiGiorno is, and I for one don't blame them. I think it's a good business move. They're probably capitalizing off of the newfound popularity of frozen pizzas. With the coronavirus, still you have people staying in. They don't really want to go out and eat. Maybe they may find themselves in a situation where they're a bit impecunious. They can't really go out to a full-blown restaurant. They're just looking for some cheap eats, something easy to make, whatever. And as a result, frozen pizzas are still popular. So DiGiorno, maybe they had this, maybe they've been waiting to release this for 10 years, and they're finally like, this is the time. Because we have the Croissant Crust Pizza from DiGiorno. That's right. It's a pizza with a croissant crust. Okay? You can see the crust is supposed to be like a whole croissant, right? Or croissant, as they say. Yeah, it's the DiGiorno Croissant Crust Pizza. So that's how it is. This is a trend that you see every now and then in the world of fast food. Where you get it, it's like, I've seen this with burgers, chicken sandwiches, where it's like instead of a bun, they're going to use a flaky, buttery croissant. Well, DiGiorno said, hey, let's just make a whole pizza on a base that's like one giant croissant. That's exactly what the premise of this item is. So here's some details about it, okay? It's the Croissant Crust Pizza from DiGiorno. It's supposed to have a flaky and buttery layered crust, so it's going to be layered. The crust rises as it bakes, so we're going to get a better look at this as we prepare it. And it's supposed to be croissant-like in flavor. So again, it's supposed to have a flaky, buttery base and croissant to it. Now, there's 3 different variants of this pizza. There's the pepperoni pizza, which is what we got there. You could also get a 3-meat pizza, which is sausage, beef, and pepperoni. And a 4-cheese pizza featuring mozzarella, parmesan, Asiago, and Romano cheeses. So with that, you can get this at really any grocery store. That's where I picked this one up. And we're just going to try it out. So I got the oven preheating right now, and we're just going to take a step over there as soon as it's done heating. I'm going to pause the camera in the meantime, and we're going to prepare this pizza, and we're going to get a closer look at it. So, the DiGiorno Croissant Crust Pizza, let's prepare this thing. Alright, so we have the DiGiorno Croissant Crust Pizza. There you can see as a better view of it, you can see that's what the crust is supposed to look like. And this is the pepperoni one, pepperoni made with pork, chicken, and beef. And it is supposed to have that light, flaky, buttery crust, and you can see it is new right there. Yep, layers of crust, pretty much everything we already know about it. And of course, none of that fake cheese, right? You get the real deal here. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno, right? Croissant crust. Combines the buttery, light flakiness of a croissant with our famous DiGiorno tomato sauce. I think I've seen this before. Okay, let's see what the directions are. Step 1, preheat the oven to 400 degrees. Gotta make sure you get that grammable picture of the pizza, so there we go. You gotta prep it, so that's the step we're at now. Gotta remove it from the freshness wrap, cardboard, place it directly on the oven rack, 25 to 27 minutes, and then enjoy with whatever you want to enjoy it with. So there's the pizza in its little plastic wrap. Let's undo that right now. Alright, it's out of its little freshness wrap. And you can see, you could say that doesn't really look very croissant-like. No, it doesn't. It looks like a basic pizza right now. But apparently it's supposed to be like a rising crust pizza, where these layers right here that you see as the pizza cooks, they're supposed to rise up and become that buttery croissant. So, there's the pizza. We're going to get it in the oven now, and let's just give it a shot. Let's see what happens. I can't say I'm all that happy right now. Not upset. A little disappointed, but not upset. Here's what I noticed right away as I was cooking the pizza, because when I make these things, I always, especially for the video, for the review, I babysit them. It's a major issue I noticed right off the bat, and if it's something that happened to me, it's prone to happening to anyone else as well. So as we read the instructions for cooking this thing, preheat it to 400 degrees, the oven, right? That's reasonable. The bake time, they said 25 to 27 minutes. I thought to myself, oh, 25 to 27, that's a little bit on the longer side of the spectrum, but whatever, maybe it needs some extra time. I always cook it for the lowest time when I do these reviews. Normally I like a little bake on it, I cook it, for me, you know, a little longer, but for this I always cook it, you know, the shortest time. Alright, set the timer for 25 minutes, I listen to some music, I check back, it's cooking away. Come back around, I don't know, 22 minutes. It's still looking, you know, like it's cooking. Then I check at 24 minutes, and I almost said a couple bad words. I look, and in the span of 2 minutes, it goes from looking almost undercooked, almost anemic looking, to like blackened. I'm thinking to myself, what? This isn't even for the shortest amount of time possible. So I was researching this, and it looks like the croissant dough, I guess it just cooks differently than the regular pizza dough. And, you know, I almost was worried I burnt it to a crisp. I think it's actually still going to be salvageable, but let me tell you, it doesn't look very appealing right now, but I think the inside is much softer than the outside. But if that's something that just happened to me, and I didn't even cook it for the shortest amount of time, I don't know if this is going to be the right pizza for you. If you're just going to put it in the oven, leave it unattended, and then you're going to come back and find this burnt husk. It's like, what is this thing? So, I'm just really disappointed in the way this turned out in terms of cooking. But like the old saying goes, you can't judge a book by its cover. So, let's see what happens. Alright, so we got the pizza here. We've got 2 slices, you know, fairly photogenic, but you could definitely see, at best, it's on the well-done side. And if you look at the box, even the pizza on the box looks like it's a little more well-done than usual. But oh my gosh. I mean, when I took this thing out of the oven, again, I don't know if I said any profane remarks, but I was certainly on edge. I thought to myself, oh my gosh, what did I do? But I think it's just the way that the dough of this thing is. You can see the entire thing is like this flaky croissant. Alright, it's not just the crust. The title's a little misleading. But the entire pizza is this flaky croissant. And there's the pepperoni. I mean, again, it's well done. That's how it turns up. I mean, again, I cooked this for the shortest time, even shorter than the box said. But I think it's still salvageable. I think it's still edible. So with that, let's just try it out. Croissant Crust Pizza from DiGiorno going in. From the first bite, it might look well done, but it doesn't taste it at all. Not at all. It does not taste burned, which is interesting. Let's keep going. I'll take a couple more bites, then I'll just try out the crust for the heck of it. I don't know, it's strange. While it cooks in a very odd way, it doesn't taste as you would expect it to. Again, there's like no char, no burnt, none of that. here's what I got to say about it. It's interesting in that I already talked about how it cooked, how all of that. We already got through that. What's interesting to me is that I would say it's light. That flakiness is definitely there. I wouldn't necessarily say that it's like eating a croissant, because I do enjoy getting croissants from bakeries and from Starbucks and from the supermarket and all that stuff. Doesn't quite remind me of that. But that flakiness is definitely there, and you can really, you can tell that there's those layers. It's not doughy. I wouldn't describe the pizza as doughy, more so just kind of light and airy in a sense. It's a very oily pizza, though. That's definite. The entire base, all the croissant dough, the crust, I mean, there's oil in it. You can see all the grease on the top of the pizza as well. Just that shine to it. It is a very, very greasy, oily, fatty pizza. All in all, though, the base of it, it's inoffensive. It's like it doesn't really have any sort of flavor of its own. Again, aside from just a texture-wise, that flakiness and a little bit of oiliness. But it's not the most flavorful in the world. Really, it's just very greasy. You can definitely taste a little bit of the spice from that pepperoni. The cheese is okay. The sauce, it's a little too runny for my liking. It reminds me of just like a cheap canned tomato sauce. I'm not the biggest fan of that. I always like a little bit more of a thicker, robust tomato sauce on my pizza. This is more just like runny and, I wouldn't say tasteless, but just more like just a tomato paste as opposed to a good quality sauce. Overall, for like a frozen pizza like this, I would say it's run-of-the-mill. In so much that it's not anything that I would rave over. Chances are, I would probably, if I were to get something from DiGiorno, I'd just go with the Rising Crust Pizza, because I just really didn't like the way this one cooked. And also the fact that I was just maybe expecting a little more out of the base and the crust itself, just flavor-wise. Again, it still has that little bit of a flakiness, but I don't taste that butteriness that they advertise on the pizza. It's like they say that it's supposed to be like this buttery, flaky, croissant-type pizza. Instead, I'm just tasting this oiliness. You know, there's a difference between like fatty oil versus like a nice, rich, buttery crust. And that definitely is not there. Instead, it's just very, very greasy. So, I mean, I guess that's what you would kind of expect for a frozen pizza, but I guess I was expecting a little bit more out of it. So, out of 10, I'd give it a 4.7 out of 10. It's not something I would get again. I mean, it's by no means the worst in the world, but it isn't the best. I think it's just they gave this impression to me that it was just going to be a bit more than it really ended up being. Like I said, I was just expecting it to be just a bit lighter, more airy, buttery, you know, in a good way, of course, not like just dumping a whole stick of butter on the pizza or something. But also, again, I just wasn't a fan of the quality of the sauce, and, I don't know, I was just expecting more out of it, that's all. When the base of the pizza is the big selling point, I was just hoping for a bit more. So with that, that's all that I have for you. Price for this, by the way, I already gave it the rating, but in my mind I factored in the price, but I didn't say it outright. Price for this, it could be anywhere from $7 to $12. I've seen it go for... It depends on the supermarket selling it, so bear that in mind. Standard price for frozen pizza, but... Yeah, truthfully, I just go with a Rising Crust Pizza from DiGiorno. DiGiorno, they have some hits, some misses. I think this is more of a miss than anything else. So I would say save the time and just go with a frozen Rising Crust Pizza from DiGiorno if you want. That's all that I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, the Report of the Week. Have a pleasant remainder of your Sunday and do take care. That's all.